Damaging winds have left a trail of destruction across Tasmania's north and west, with trees downing power lines, crushing vehicles and damaging roofs. Power was cut in nearly 50,000 homes and businesses, and some communities have been left without mobile phone or internet access. Clancy Barland starts our coverage.
This is the aftermath of last night's high winds in suburban Launceston. Trees uprooted, footpaths ripped up, and a very close call for this family.
I was peacefully playing Fortnite in the lounge room, right where that window is near the front door, and I heard a big, almost like the house shook.
No one in the home was hurt, but 2 road crew workers were injured last night.
We were doing some work to repair from storm damage, so as I mentioned, our hearts go out to them. I understand some of their injuries are quite severe, though non-life-threatening.
Wind gusts hit all-time peaks in some parts of the state.
We had record wind gusts for Launceston Airport of 130 kilometres per hour and at King Island of 157 kilometres per hour.
The SES responded to close to 350 calls for help last night.
The damage and destruction we saw last night was wind-driven primarily, broken windows, broken roofs, a lot of downed trees.
Chris Kilby is looking at a big damage bill at his farm after high winds picked up an irrigator and blew the roof off his shed.
The afternoon's going to be spent tidying all that up, making it safe for the next storm fronts coming through.
At the height of the storm, power was cut to 47,000 properties, mostly in the north and the northwest.
We've seen extensive damage to power lines, wires down, poles down, and our crews are working tirelessly.
But could be up to 5 days before electricity is restored to some areas. Power has been on and off for a week at this wildlife park at Gunns Plains.
We're closed, and we have 26 staff here. So we've got to look after them and keep everything else going, and so it's cost us a fortune.
Power supply to the Northwest Regional Hospital and 2 district hospitals was disrupted over the weekend. Some elective surgery was impacted.
If you need to present at an emergency department, in this case the Northwest Regional Hospital, it is safe to do so.
The power outages also affected telephone networks across Tasmania. Several cell towers were running on backup power, which ran out due to the length of the power disruptions. The winds have eased in most parts of the north and the cleanup has started, but those in the central parts of the state will still be on alert with warnings of more severe weather to come. Clancy Barland, ABC News.
And we've got reporters in Tasmania's north and south tonight. Clancy Barland is in Launceston. Clancy, what kind of weather is in store for Tasmanians tomorrow?
Well, the wind has eased for now, but there still remains some moderate flood warnings across the north. There's the Meander and the Deloraine area. There's also here the North Esk near Launceston and the South Esk down to Avoca. There's also some damaging wind warnings for the Central Plateau. That'll come down off the Western Tiers and affect the Mole Creek area. And then, of course, there's still the thousands of people that remain without power. I was in Lilydale, north of Launceston, just this afternoon, and several people I spoke to still didn't have access to power, and several people didn't have access to telephone networks. So despite the fact that the weather conditions are easing, it doesn't seem like the north is out of the woods just yet.
Clancy Barland, thank you. In the state's south, floodwaters have peaked below Meadowbank Dam in Derwent Valley, but are continuing to rise further downstream. There's still a flood emergency warning and evacuation order for the River Derwent from Meadowbank to Macquarie Plains and the Styx River from Bushy Park to Macquarie Plains. And some businesses in the area have already been inundated.
This is the Meadowbank Dam spilling over. Footage provided by the SES shows huge amounts of water heading through the River Derwent. This is the effect downstream at Bushy Park, where parts of the community are isolated. And the threat isn't over, with areas below the dam already at record levels.
That's translating to a flood peak expected near the major flood level this evening about Macquarie Plains.
High tides, rain and inflows from upstream has seen roads submerged and many are stuck.
We moved over from the mainland last year because we got caught up in the big floods over there, and unfortunately we seem to have walked straight into them over here.
The distillery at Ooze has been inundated. with water about 7 centimetres deep flowing through the business. Further downstream in New Norfolk, the river spilled into front yards overnight and inundated the New Norfolk Bowls Club.
Worried about what's happening right now, but also worried about what the fallout's going to be as well. Lots of cleaning up.
Some people have had to leave their homes, but the evacuation centre has been quiet, with most choosing to shelter with family and friends.
Lots of offers for assistance with food, places to take pets, horses, that sort of thing. So the community's really come together, as they always do.
For many locals, this is the highest they've ever seen the river, and they're on standby.
It's moving real fast and there's more coming, they say, so we're just going to have to be careful, and yeah, it's really high.
We were all prepared. We've lifted things off the floor up to higher areas to make sure, just in case, and we're ready to go if needs be, but thankfully not yet.
The police have been working with the SES door knocking and managing road closures.
We've forecast out that we'll need people on the ground for a number of days to come, and we're working through that planning process.
With more rain on the way, it'll be a while yet before attention turns to the clean-up. Josh Duggan, ABC News.
And Josh Duggan is in New Norfolk. Josh, where in the Derwent Valley are we expecting flood peaks tonight?
Jono, the entire Derwent Valley remains on alert tonight with a moderate flood warning here in New Norfolk, a major flood warning for Meadowbank, Macquarie Plains and Bushy Park, and moderate flood warnings for the Styx and Ouse rivers. The SES says that waters at Meadowbank Dam have now peaked, reaching 8.2 metres, eclipsing the previous record from 1980 of 7.6 metres and also the level of the 2016 floods. They're then expecting that waters will peak in Bushy Park and here in New Norfolk at 8 and 9 p.m. respectively. That'll be welcome news for people in those communities. Many of them are currently isolated, and many people here in New Norfolk, in the lower lying areas of New Norfolk, have had to leave their properties for fear of the water. But of course, authorities are reminding people the high water levels will persist for days to come.
Josh, thank you.